Yeah, it's happened so many times in this playoff run for Indiana. Yeah, remember Milwaukee, Indiana, 118 to 111 in overtime. Indiana won that game up 3-1 in that series, and then 119 to 112. Cleveland was up, and Indiana had a 1-0 series lead in that one, and they came back. 121 to 112. New York Knicks, 52.5 to go in that game. On game one of that Eastern Conference Final, Indiana won that. 109 or 108 to 99 yesterday against OKC. 2:36 left, and Tyrese Halliburton went down the court and came in clutch and hit it with zero point 0.3 left time on the clock on a defensive rebound. But the thing that stood out to me, they had 20 turnovers in the first half. Indiana did, and then they only had like two in the second half. So, man, like this is a total turnaround. They beat them at their own game in the second half too. Okay, so he was 11 to 30 from the three. Okay, or Indiana was 18 to 39 from the three. But this is where it stands out to me the most. 13 assists for OKC. Indiana had 24. But listen to this stat: 14 steals for Indiana or OKC. Indiana only had one. And like I talked about, 24 turnovers for Indiana and then six for OKC. So if you're looking at these stats in detail, you're probably thinking, dang, OKC should have dominated. Well, they did until like the last 3 minutes of the ball game. Because at one time, Indiana was down by as many as 15 going into that final quarter. Well, I think he is one of the best right now as we speak. Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm go- yeah, absolutely. I also think right now, also, I'm going to pick Indiana in seven just because of that game last night. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but the NBA to give these players a week off, and see the fans' point of view, you don't get to see game two now until Sunday night. So if you're a sports fan, I guess you got to deal with hockey, tonight, and then you got to deal with college softball tonight, and then enjoy some baseball tomorrow, I guess, before game two hits in OKC. But right now, I got Indiana in seven, unless OKC can prove me otherwise. Who do you got? Who, yeah, I got Indiana in 7. Tom Thibodeau does not deserve to be fired from the Knicks either. By the way, yeah. What are you doing, Knicks? I just don't get it because you do that trade with Minnesota a couple years ago to get all those players, from Minnesota, and I just don't get it, man. Like on top of that, you go to the Eastern Conference Finals, and you let the Spike Lee and company just want to change. But geez, I mean, who are we gonna find better right now? I know Michael Malone is out there, but the thing is, he's had his chance in some interviews, and it seems like he just wants to enjoy the TV and ESPN radio at the moment. So who are you actually gonna go after then? Hmm. He doesn't have that Eastern Conference background, so yeah, right. Coastal, my friend, coastal, 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 coastal. Yeah, I get North Carolina in 3 games. I think it's just going to be a competitive series. I think the way that Arizona's hitting the baseball right now, it kind of makes them kind of exciting to watch because they can swing the bat. So that's one reason I think North Carolina can probably beat them in 3. It's probably going to be like a North Carolina game 1 win, maybe Arizona game 2. Think about it, it's an early start. For one thing, I know you got some rest a couple days before, but you're still traveling cross country on an early game in general. And also, I think Blake Hogue, who does it, he has Arizona as well. So give me North Carolina in 3, but he's got Arizona. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, Blake has Miami as well, but he didn't put how many games beside it. But I got Miami in three as well. I think it's a heated ACC rivalry. I think, to be honest with you, I think these teams like they played both teams played hot throughout the year at one time. Miami won like five series in a row at one time. It felt like so that's one reason I think Miami right now. Plus, I think Miami had the better edge of playing tougher teams in the Hattiesburg region. I know Louisville. Think about it. Louisville in that Vanderbilt region was kind of like ever since Vanderbilt got eliminated by Wright State. I think Louisville had the easiest path to go to Super Regional. So go ahead and give me Miami in three. Wow. Yeah, you brought up the environment. Oregon State, Corvallis. They didn't play that many home games this year. That's in Corvallis, but it didn't matter to them in that regional because the way they pitched was pretty impressive. Beating TCU the way they did, and then also the way that they shut out Southern Cal the way they did. But give me Florida State in three. I think the pitching right now very well could be a factor in game three. And also, I think Blake has Florida State as well. So give me Florida State in three. Right. Uh huh. Pull it. Go ahead and do it. Uh huh. Right. My thoughts are nice jersey combination in this one as well. First thing that comes to mind. Um, and also, I think Coastal, the way their environment helped them out a little bit in that regional in Conway, might carry over to the Auburn crowd as well. But the reason I'm saying that is because both fan bases are pretty rowdy in college baseball. So let's give me the Coastal Carolina as the edge in three because I think Coastal Carolina very well could be used to that environment down in Auburn. That's the reason I'm picking Coastal in three, and then Blake's got Auburn as well. So, but that's one reason I'm picking Coastal because they're used to the crowd noise. Yeah, Blake's got Duke. Um, Duke, what a great series that was, or regional that was out in Athens. I know Duke did not play Georgia, but Oklahoma State played Georgia. That night thing was pretty chaotic. But the way that Duke dominated that Athens region, that was pretty much impressive. We knew Georgia could hit the ball, but the way that Georgia pitched, or not Duke, yeah, the way that Duke pitched the ball in Athens might carry over to Murray State. But I'm kind of going on this bandwagon train right now and picking Murray State in three, just because I think the way that Murray State dominated hitting the ball in the Oxford Regional by beating Georgia Tech by scoring 10 plus runs and by beating Ole Miss by 10, like they had scored 10 plus runs in that one as well. I think the only thing that concerns me is maybe the environment a little bit again, but they've been in it for in the Oxford Regional before, so that's one reason I think Murray State, the road environment, might not hurt them at all going over to Duke. Right. Wow. The people that had picked West Virginia, like we talked about with JD 2 weeks ago or last week, I also asked him, I was like, how far do you think West Virginia can go far in this bracket? He said, I'm not sold on certain positions like pitching, whatnot. And they played the easiest Big 12 schedule. But to me, when you're going down to Death Valley in an afternoon/night game, that's just a totally different environment, though. Like you haven't been down there and see SEC. And I think maybe LSU is maybe kind of looking ahead a little bit, and then they finally woke up and said, "Hey, I know Arkansas Little Rock phenomenal story, but let's protect our home field when it matters most." So I'm picking LSU in three, but I got a gut feeling the game three might be a little bit of high scoring than people think, and Blake's got LSU as well. In three, very interesting. Um, Yeah, it looks like the weather could be a factor a little bit tomorrow, but it's not going to be. Yeah, so looking at the weather forecast for the next 3 days, it's gonna be like 85% storms. Well, hey, storms are coming in overnight. Since we have like an inch of rain tonight, and then maybe about an inch and a half tomorrow morning. 85% AM thunderstorms, and then it could very well clear up before 5 o'clock. But the thing is, though, right now I'm kind of surprised they haven't really. I know it's on TV. I know you still got played by ear and whatnot. But yeah, 85% storms tomorrow, 5% now Sunday. Then Monday is 45% in the morning. Think about it, this is a 3 game series that very well could have been Friday, Saturday, Sunday from a fan perspective. But also, since it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I know no matter what, fans are going to travel from all over the Fayetteville just to watch this series. Um, I kind of agree with you on the pitching with Arkansas because we saw it when Tennessee played in their regional, how important. Plus, they had to play Wake Forest twice. So, and I also think one reason I'm picking Tennessee in three in this, I just love how they get into it pitching right now. Like they get so hyped up regarding they want the baseball at certain positions or at certain times. You saw it the other day when one of their pitchers threw 115 pitches on Friday night, and he goes over to Tony Vitello and says, "Hey, I want the baseball again Sunday night in that second game. If I need to go in, I'll be available for you." And I think the passion right now for Tennessee baseball is one reason I'm picking Tennessee in three in this because each player wants another shot of winning the title, not only for themselves but also for Tony Vitello. And people want to say, "Well, Tony Vitello, like you said, he's kind of been the laughter of the SEC, but he's enjoying college baseball, man. Like he's enjoying coaching Tennessee baseball. So let him celebrate with his players if he wants to. I don't get no problem with it. So that's the reason I'm picking Tennessee in three and Blake's got Arkansas. Yeah. Yeah, Blake's got UCLA. I got UCLA in three. I think great story on UTSA. Going cross country again to Los Angeles. The environment might be a little bit different than Austin, Texas, of course. But I love how UTSA is hitting the baseball and they're also pitching. But their bullpen at UTSA is pretty nasty. I'm not gonna lie, they're done pretty well. They did dominate Texas in that regional in the bullpen area as well, and so that's one reason I think this series could go very well 3 games. But give me UCLA in three. I just think it's gonna be a home game pretty much for UCLA. Not like it was down in Austin because you saw it and I saw it. The Texas coach was kind of blaming the home crowd a little bit down in Austin because think about it. They thought the crowd noise could be a factor down in Austin, but the Texas fans were sure a lot quiet during that regional, and they really didn't show up for that regional either. It looked like on TV. So that's one reason I'm going to go ahead and do UCLA in 3 because I think the environment for UCLA is totally different because UTSA brought like 70% of their fans down to Austin, it seemed. So, yeah, give me UCLA in 3. Yeah, he did that in the post during the interview during the game, right? That's why they didn't show up. Can I say something about college baseball real quick? I know we haven't talked about this at all, really. You brought it up during the Coastal Carolina segment, but Coach O'Sullivan for Florida Gators, I want to say this, man. Like, you embarrass yourself for the university, you embarrass yourself for your players, you also embarrass yourself for the fan base of the University of Florida. If the SEC and the University of Florida does not step in and suspend this guy for at least 3 conference games, or the first weekend of SEC, and also 3 non-conference games, I'll be shocked. He definitely deserves to be suspended. He embarrassed himself. Think about it. This day and age, all you got to do is hold up a camera, and people will have it on video, and it definitely showed how it was down in Coastal the other day. And I think that's just embarrassing for yourself. I know you also want to. I also want to say this: Wake Forest manager should also be suspended for saying what he said. I'm not going to say what he said on air. There's video out there people can watch of what he said. Then for the player to hit a 2-run home run after he said it was just great in general. But the Wake Forest coach also needs to be suspended some games. And then how do you not remember what you actually said in that dugout when you basically said it yourself? Especially when you said in your statement, I don't know what I said or remember the moment that well at all. Wow, that's just shocking to me. But okay, move on. That's how I feel about these 2 coaches. I just want to say that regarding college baseball before we go to softball. Very well true. Yeah. Yeah, let me say this about game one real quick. Great game, like you just brought up. Texas won the game 2-1. Texas had 4 hits that game as well, but Texas had 4 errors, while Texas Tech had 0 errors and 3 hits. But Kennedy, man, she's throwing lights out still. She's pitched every game up to date right now. She's the $1 million pitcher we're talking about. But she pitched every postseason game. It seemed like last year also when she was at Stanford, she pitched the final 2 games as well. But I love her post game interview, how she took the blame on that 3-0 count. Because think about it, she was right down the middle on that 3-0 count on that intentional walk that they had, where they're trying to move runner over to get base load and get that force out. But hey, credit Texas when it was they took the lead 2-1. That's how the game ended. But look at the catcher where she's standing on that 3-0 count too. That's the key thing in that moment as well, going into that pitch as well. The catcher is kind of like right behind home plate. If they're going to walk somebody, the catcher should move over to the left and intentional walk them that way. So yeah, that's my thoughts on game one. Like you brought up game two, great series in that one as well in game two, where it got interesting for a moment, but Texas Tech won the game 4-3. And also, I think the thing that concerns me, if you're a Texas fan, still is Texas had 2 more errors in this game as well. So that's a lot of errors in the first 2 ball games if you're a Texas fan. But I want to question this. I don't think Texas has thrown their best pitcher yet either. So see Texas, Mac Morgan only threw 2 innings, and then you got Salman Canberra throw 3 innings. Why do you pull your pitcher after 2 innings and done pretty well? Is what I want to know. Especially when I think, especially when I think Texas. If you're Texas, I don't think you're going to see Texas taking game three, and that's when all the momentum went over to Texas Tech in game two when they changed pitchers and give Texas Tech the edge 4-3 and win that game. So game three, win it all. I get the favor to Texas Tech right now, man. Like it seems like to me, the Oklahoma crowd is definitely going for Texas Tech in this as well because they cannot stay in Texas. Plus, they don't want to see Texas win the national title in year one in softball either. So give me Texas Tech in three. Uh, I think this game right here, probably like a low scoring. I think it could be like 2-1. It's done pretty well. Who do you got, by the way? Oh, Mhm. To be honest with you, I have no idea. Um, I think the NBA Cup, me personally, I think it should matter something because yeah, it's based on seeding, whatnot. But I also want to say this: I think whoever comes out of that, like if it's an Eastern team or like a Western team, maybe that's how they get home fit. I mean, home court. I know they do it by based on base, but overall record right now. But I want something to mean something these days in sports. So, is it really fair to have somebody have the best record to host the NBA Finals for the first two ball games? Yes and no, but I kind of lean more toward I don't think it's fair at all. I think like we've seen this before. The Major League Baseball All Star Game used to count. Now they don't have it no more. They used to matter for these players in the Major League Baseball All Star Game. Like whoever won the All Star Game got the host the NBA or the MLB Finals and by not by best record. So I think the NBA Cup should matter something now. So I think it's just man, maybe it's up to the court people that do the court or the arena because who knows they might have other events going on prior to that. But who knows what's really going on in the NBA? I'm just trying to figure out what the NBA though, man. Like the NBA taking so many days off for these finals. Maybe that's a big turnoff for a lot of people too. Because like we talked about, game two is not till Sunday night. Game three is not till Wednesday night. Game four Friday, and then game five Monday, game six Thursday, and then game seven will be Sunday. What happened to why are people getting 3 days off, man? Like these NBA players can take 2 days off. No, I just don't get it, man. I want to see more games on the weekend. I just want to see more games on the weekend and go Oilers today. Go Edmonton.